This is my Mark III Golf project car that we've been spending the last 3 months modifying, but in today's video, this might come to an end. The aim of this series is to build a nice, cheap Facebook Marketplace car and modify every episode on a strict budget to put myself in the shoes of the average UK household that has around £300 spare. In every episode, we've had a £300 limit to spend on this car we cannot go over, which has made things a little bit difficult, but we've managed to make it work so far. If you've not been keeping up with this series, we've done wheels, exhaust, the whole front end's been changed, we've changed the interior, the rear lights, and we've done loads more stuff. It's a very nerve-wracking day for me today because this car is going in for its first inspection under my ownership. Now, when I first bought this car, the owner said everything is fine. They didn't mention anything on the advert. They didn't mention the clutch was slipping. There's loads of faults that they didn't really mention. Old Volkswagens tend to rust quite a bit, and this car, since I've bought it, has not been the best example of a Volkswagen that I've bought. If it is that bad, the project might be a complete failure and I'm gonna have to sell it and scrap it. So I hope that don't happen, but fingers crossed guys, it's good news. So far this car has been a pleasure to build and I've been blown away with the response that you guys have shown. The views and the likes have been amazing, so really appreciate you guys for sticking by. So without further ado, let's take it for its first MOT and see if I've bought a basket case. In the UK, if your car is older than 3 years, it needs an annual inspection, also known as an MOT. On an MOT test, the inspector will thoroughly check the car over, testing all the car's safety equipment, exhaust emissions and general roadworthiness. At the end of the test, you'll be presented with one of two documents. Either a VT20, which is a pass certificate. You'll leave the garage with a big fat smile on your face as your car is safe to use for another 12 months, dodging huge potholes and getting cut up by incompetent drivers. Lucky you. If you're the unlucky one, you'll receive a VT30, which is a big fat fail. Your car is dangerous and it needs scrapping immediately. No, I'm just playing. It could be anything as stupid as a side light bulb not working or not enough water in your screen wash bottle. From then, you'll have 10 working days to fix the problems and take it back for a free retest where the inspector will check only the problems the car's previously failed on. If the time lapses after 10 days, you'll need to cough up some more cash for a full inspection. After the test was done, I was given the news. Well, we got a big fat fail guys. Car needs scrapping. It is absolutely rotten underneath. I have no idea what to do now because we've just put all our money into this car. I'm just playing. It has failed, but the things that it's failed on isn't too bad. We have a ABS fault. The exhaust has a major leak of exhaust gases. When we put the new exhaust on, I put it all in separate pieces, so I might not have tightened up a clamp. Also have a near side front ball joint is excessively worn. The service brake lagging in operation and near side front. We're going to go home, get all these 4 bits sorted out, bring it back for its MOT and get it back on the road. Along with the failed items, there's a few advisories which aren't safety related, just a recommendation to repair. I can tackle these items at a later date, but for now, let's work on the failed items. I took the car back home to get all of the parts replaced and you'll never guess what happened. The ABS light's just gone off. What? The car's just fixed itself. But either way, it wants diagnosing because if it goes back on during the MOT test, it's just going to fail it again and I'll have to sort it out anyway. Let's get it back home and sort all these stupid problems out. Alright guys, the first job on the list is the exhaust system. So with the fail certificate here, exhaust has a major leak of exhaust gases. I just spoke to the garage before I picked the car up and they said it's leaking from the middle section. So where the downpipe comes, goes into the cat and then it goes into another pipe which goes to the center section. Between the cat and that center pipe, he's saying it's leaking from there. So what we're going to do is just clean all of the joints up just to make sure this is not going to leak again. Probably overkill because the exhaust is coming off for the twin pipes that we've got just in the corner of the garage. But for now, the main focus of this video is to get it through its MOT. Let's just get the major fails out of the way first and then we can start spannering away on other problems. Let's get the car jacked up and do this exhaust again. It's always a little disappointing when your car fails its MOT, but it's all part of the journey with a project car. Every struggle takes you on an up and down journey and makes you stronger in the end. The exhaust is joined in 4 places, so I decided to work from the front backwards. In the previous video I installed this 2.5-inch exhaust, but the gasket and bolts didn't come in time. I'll start off replacing this first, along with these 3 bolts I found in the spare bolt drawer. Next up, I worked on the middle section. Looking at the joint, I can tell the leak was from here, from the black soot that's around the sleeve. The 2 clamps need removing so I can separate the 2 exhaust pieces. The exhaust and sleeve off, I can wire brush the areas that slide into each other. Then I can put some exhaust paste on. And tighten it all back up. The beauty of editing is I can cut out the last 45 minutes or so of me struggling to get the exhaust back on and make it look easy. Confident I've repaired the exhaust leak, I installed the rest of the exhaust. Right people, the first job has been done just about. It was an absolute nightmare and I think I know where I've gone wrong. This joint here, the one in the middle, you have to put it on in a sequence, otherwise you ain't getting it on. I think I did it the wrong way around, putting it on so it wasn't fully sealed, and that's why it was leaking, not because it wasn't tight. So now is the next task. Let's crack on. Alright guys, the next job we need to do is this component. So if I read the fail sheet, it says suspension arm ball joint excessively worn, near side front lower. Luckily for me, I didn't have to spend a penny on this part, because when we was modifying the Mark II Golf, because it's on air suspension, when I was renewing all of the suspension components, I did what's called a ball joint extender kit. Now I'm not going to go too far into what it does, but it just allows the suspension geometry to remain as good as I can because it's on air suspension. When I ordered lower arms, these came with them, and I'm 99% sure they're both the same. So what we're going to do, on here it just says near side front lower. I always replace stuff in pairs, and I'd probably put a set of lower arms on, but for cost and time I'm literally just going to replace this side. Next up is replacing the near side front ball joint. Because the car was already off the floor, all I needed to do was take off the wheel and caliper. Then I can remove this pinch bolt. After that I remove the 3 ball joint bolts and open this section to make it easier for the ball joint to slide out. You can see here this plate, which is why it failed its MOT. Next I put the new one in and built it all up. We're only halfway there now. Alright guys, so as you can see, barely, that this black boot, that's the ball joint, that has been replaced. Everything is good. Before we build everything back up, I need to do the other fail, which is service brake lagging in operation near side front. So near side front is not providing as much brake force as the other side. Now I didn't notice this on the road. You'd have expected it to sort of pull to one side, but I've honestly not known any different. He says it slowly picks up and then it brakes, so it's a little bit of a lag. Could be due to a sticky caliper. I'm kind of leaving it to chance. Is use these, push the piston all the way back where the pad slides in the carrier when it's obviously braking. It could be seized there as well, so I'm going to clean up that area, grease up the brake pads, build it all back up, and fingers crossed we can get a pass on it. But the ball joint is done, the exhaust is done, we're halfway there. At first I suspected it was a seized caliper piston, so I pushed it back with a set of grips and it moved freely, so I know it's not the caliper. The next problem it could be is the carrier. Rust, dirt and brake dust can build up, stopping the brake pad from sliding on the carrier, so I'll clean the friction surface. Cleaned up the brake pads. Put some grease on. It wasn't until I attempted to bolt the caliper back on and I noticed this. This slider at the top. Well, they're both seized actually. That'll be it. Right, okay, so I'm going to try and free these two off, grease them up, but the pads have all been cleaned up, the carriers have been cleaned up, and the caliper is free moving. It comes back and forward, and when I'm applying the brake it comes out, so that is all I can see the problem being. Like I say, I will try and clean them up, we'll see. These slider pins allow the brake caliper to move, ensuring even pressure is applied to each side of the brake disc. Because these are seized, the caliper can't move, therefore braking force is reduced and you'll get uneven pad wear. With some perseverance I managed to get the sliders off. Yep, completely dry. So obviously being a component that needs to slide, it needs lubrication inside, and then on this bit and it's completely dry, which is why it's seized up and the caliper is not returning back or applying enough pressure. So let's grease this up. This one was okay, the other side, that one looks like it's really seized, so grease this up. Beautiful. Now they're both free moving. That should have been what our issue is. So let's build everything back up and then move on to the last problem. Right guys, next task. ABS brake system warning lamp indicates ABS fault. So when the car is turned on to ignition, the ABS light flashes to say that it's functioning, and then it waits a couple of seconds, it does like a system test, and then on mine it then stays lit, which means that there's a fault. It's been coming and going at very random times. Rather than guess and throw on a couple of sensors, I'm going to plug it in and diagnose the fault. Presenting Top Don's entry-level diag machine, the AD500. It's perfect for hobbyists and mechanics like you and me who need fixes to the never-ending issues our modified cars face. This code scanner is designed to help you pinpoint issues quickly and accurately. And because it's affordable, a one-time fix on your car can cover the price of the machine than if you went into the garage and have them plug it in for you. Let's take a closer look at what makes this worth its money. So I've had the code scanner for a couple of weeks now, and it's just giving me time to get used to it. I've plugged it into lots of different cars, used different functions, and it's literally straightforward. I didn't look at any tutorials, I just started pressing buttons and started clicking around, and I managed to get my head around it. So let's tap into this ABS fault. It's actually gone back on now. So it was on at the MOT station. We drove home, it turned off. Now we're in the garage, it's on. So let's plug it in, see what faults we get, and let's start fixing. The AD500 features a simple and easy to use interface with a clear, concise display. You'll be able to navigate through the codes, get linked to online forums, clear errors and access valuable diagnostic data with ease. You even get free lifetime upgrades. Okay guys, so hopefully you guys can see from here, we have a left rear ABS wheel speed sensor intermittent, obviously because it comes and goes when it wants. Good thing about this scanner is we can actually click into this and go online. It will link us to a bunch of online forums that people have had the same fault and see if we can get an easier cause. Could be ABS wheel speed sensor faulty, could be the wiring to the sensor, possible solutions, check wiring, check ABS sensor. Now guys, we have a 3.5 brake-in outside and it has ABS. What I'm going to do is nick a sensor off that one and put it on this. Comparing to my old scanner, it's more robust and boots up and complete scans much quicker. The machine offers essential features like oil light resets, TPMS calibrations, battery monitoring sensor reset, steering angle sensor resets, throttle adaptations and many more. Its auto VIN function makes quick diag jobs possible by quickly capturing crucial information so you don't have to. Despite its price, the AD500 covers a wide range of different cars, including this 26-year-old Golf. With the new sensor in and fault code cleared, I took it for a road test. It didn't come back on at all, so I can say it's a job officially fixed. If I would have took the car to a garage, they could charge up to a couple of hours in diag fees, which could be around £100. Then the cost of the ABS sensor itself, which is roughly £20, and at least an hour labour at another £50 plus. So I'm up to around £170 on this fault. Using the eBay link in the description, you'll get a discount if you use the code at the bottom of the screen from now until the 23rd. If you're buying between October 23rd and the 31st, use this code instead. So the cost of the machine could easily pay for itself off in one scan, not to mention the cash you can make on the side plugging your friends' cars in. Massive thank you to Top Don for sponsoring this video. Alright guys, the next day we got the new sensor on. We've just took it around for a road test, cleared the faults, and the sensor and the warning light has not come on since. Now, knowing how it was when I took it to the station and it was on, they tested it, failed it, and then I drove home. As soon as I drove it home, the light went off. So I have no idea if I've fixed it, but the code scanner has come in clutch, because if we have fixed this, then how much that would have cost me to take it to a shop to get fixed would have been way more than the actual diag machine itself. So let's go take it to the MOT station and pray that it passes. I brought the car back to the garage. The mechanic then took the car up in the air to inspect the previously leaking exhaust, worn ball joint, reduced brake efficiency and ABS light. With a few minutes nervously pacing up and down the yard, I was presented with this. Good news people, we have now got a pass certificate. All of the major faults have now been fixed, and we also had an advisory that we fixed, which was the exhaust mounts. The car is now legal. I can go for a drive now, so that is exactly what I'm going to do. Oh yes, guys, listen to the pops. How could you get bored of that? Oh my god! What have I created? This does not sound like this car should make a noise. Oh my god. Yeah, sounds good. Well, good afternoon people. I thought I would go on a little excursion drive up to Ben's house, seeing as the car is now MOT and it's on the road. Thought I would show you some of the things he's got going on for a friend, which we have this Mark III cab, and it's having that thrown into it. Fair enough. It's been done a few times, but the cab's not so much. The hatchbacks are more popular to sort of engine swap into something like a 3.2, but the cabs are a little bit less frequently modified, we'll say. These engines sound absolutely phenomenal, and when you've got the top down, it's even better.
This is my first 3.2 swap, but it's essentially the same as any Mark IV swap. Mark IV engine swap. And that we've just got to get the loom converter to run with the CE2 fuse board?
Yes.
Yeah, CE2. Yeah, I've never done R32 one. So we'll send this one off, and whilst we send that off, we might as well send the one off for my car, which is a Mark 5 engine. So I also get to sit here and figure out the difference between a Mark 4 engine and a Mark 5 engine. I've just got to figure out which bits I've got to change for them to be able to fit into a Mark 3.
But that is going to be going into this shortly. If you guys want to see content on this, you want to see me come and help Ben out, let me know in the comments below. If you don't, I won't film it, so it's up to you if you want to see it. But it'll be a good project when it's finished. And then once you've done that cab, you can get the 3.2. Your plan is to get it in that, isn't it? Yeah. So that will be another interesting engine swap to see on that car. So here we are, guys. I'm very happy with how the car is turning out. Today didn't go to plan, however we did fix the problems that was needed to pass the car through its MOT. There are a few things we need to address which we'll do in a later video. This car is now legal to drive, so all of the other things we need to tackle we've got lots of time to fix. For a budget build series, I don't think I'm doing too bad with this car so far. We've still got engine work to do, we've still got the interior to sort out, we've got the wheels to sort, and there is lots of other things that I can think of. So if there's any other modifications you want to see me do on this car, be sure to put it in the comments down below. If you're into project builds, maintenance, DIYs, modifications and stuff like that, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. And we're making some really good progress, so let me know, blah blah blah. Why? I've just gave this car a nice scratch and shine, and now look. Oh, the fans are kicking on. Oh, that's a good thing, at least we know they work. Usually you're better off putting them lubricate, fucking hell, than have them plug the car in. Oh my god. So I've been using this code scanner for a couple of weeks now on various different cars. Oh, look at that, still on. Oh my god, I've just slipped.